Good evening. It's May 6, 2025, and it's certainly my honor and pleasure to be speaking with Mr. John J. Jeckovich. How are you doing today, Mr.
Very good,
Jeckovich?
very good, thank you.
You're looking well.
Yeah,
I heard you had a special visitor today.
yeah, Amber, yeah.
Amber Nicole Jeckovich, which is Mr. Jeckovich's great-granddaughter, came to visit today. She's a fine young girl in her 20s.
So
Hold that up, Mr. Jeckovich.
Hold it up for everybody to see.
They did some nice artwork.
Turn it around, John.
They did some nice artwork, and there's Amber and Mr. Jeckovich. What, like two peas in a pod? You guys do nice artwork together. You can just lay down the chair for now, Mr. Jeckovich. So Amber Nicole Jeckovich comes by at least 4 or 5 times a week when she's in town. She's a very nice young girl. She's a full-time missionary, travels the world. There hasn't been a continent she hasn't been on. And also she's an avid surfer. She surfs in every surf area in the world. For example, she just left Malibu. She was there for 3 months. Malibu, California. She got out just in time. She got out 2 weeks before the fire started.
Yeah.
But she surfs any type of situation, any place you can imagine around the world. Even though she lives on the ocean and she can roll out of her house and be in the sand, she's always chasing a bigger wave, right?
Yeah.
Would you want Amber to teach you to surf?
No.
Were you ever interested in surfing?
No.
So there it is, Amber Nicole Jeckovich, in her 20s, and it restores your faith in young people. Amber has such a great big heart because she's Christocentric compared to many people today that are simply egocentric.
Yeah.
Many people today are simply egocentric when Amber is totally Christocentric, and she's got great empathy for all, young and old.
Yeah.
Young and old. So you had a nice time with Amber, right?
Yeah.
Did you two have dinner together?
Oh, yeah.
How was your dinner?
Good, very good.
Did Amber eat much?
No, she don't eat much, no.
How'd she look in her new clothes? I heard she had nice new jewelry on, and
Yeah.
she looked nice, didn't she?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad Amber comes through when most don't. But here we go. Mr. Jeckovich was from Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich lives by the motto, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. Today is a gift. By the way, Mr. Jeckovich was drafted into the military to go directly into World War II into combat as a teenager, while his brothers enlisted, and by enlisting, his brothers got very cushy jobs. One was doing what?
Teaching recruits how to drive Jeeps.
Was he an expert driver?
No.
What was his history?
He had hit fire hydrant once.
So if you hit a fire hydrant and you enlist, you could stay in the States, never see active duty, and teach kids to drive Jeeps.
Yeah.
But if you wait to get drafted, you're pretty well screwed. They're going to take your ass and they're going to put you on the front line. And
Well, that's what they say. If you go to the front line, you're a jerk.
well, jerk.
Yeah.
Jerk.
Right.
Whoever said that has no idea what a war is. Whoever said that is sitting back in the rear echelon and never fought the war. But let's get back to it. Why did you wait to get drafted?
I wait by my mother.
You had to care for your mother.
Yeah.
You took care of your mother from 11 years old to her demise when she's 89 years old, right?
Yeah.
Did your 2 brothers participate?
No.
But they're in the war, staying on stateside, teaching people how to drive a Jeep.
Yeah.
Because they enlisted and they got a cushy job. You waited to take care of your mother.
They got political jobs. They do something.
You waited to take care of your mother and you got sent right to the front line.
They got political jobs.
Well, they didn't do the right thing. How about that?
Yeah.
They didn't do the right thing. You did. You did. Let me go over some of Mr. Jekovich's medals from World War II. This is directly from the Department of Army on 1600 Spearhead Division Avenue, Department 480, Fort Knox, Kentucky. And this was written by, this is directly by Michael A. Rice, Major U.S. Army, Assistant Chief of Awards and Decorations Branch. So here's some of the medals as a teenage boy he received. A Bronze Star Medal, a Purple Heart, Army Good Conduct Medal, American Campaign Medal, European African Middle Eastern Campaign Medal with 3 bronze stars. Very nice. World War II Victory Medal, Army of Occupation Medal with a Germany clasp, Combat Infantry Badge, that's what the hell you were, you're combat infantry, right? Sharpshooter Badge with carbine, pistol and machine gun bars, Marksman Badge with rifle bar, and Honorable Service lapel button for World War II. So as a teenager, you got a lot of medals.
Wow.
Where are those medals today?
Who knows?
When's the last time you seen them?
They came in.
And you never seen them since?
Nah.
Where's your uniform?
Who knows?
Let's talk about your uniform for a minute. You had 2 types of uniforms. Tell us what type they were.
Summer and winter.
But didn't you have a dress uniform?
Yeah, that was it.
Parades?
OD.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Tie and everything.
let's get back to this uniform, because this is very interesting. How many uniforms did you bring home?
2.
2. Okay. Now, during World War II, Mr. Jeckovich weighed 187 pounds. How much do you weigh now?
151.
You have a lot of catching up to do. But the reason why I brought up these weights is because if you did have access to your military clothing, they would fit you properly.
Yeah.
Many people can't say that. Many people don't go down, they go up. But yours would fit you properly. Yours would fit you properly. And before you got drafted, they said you were working at Croydale Sheet Metal Worker as a teenager. What did you do there?
I had to put dust clothes because the sheet metal work.
Just,
Worked at every.
How many minutes?
I can't read that part, 22.
So you did sheet metal, and you did that with your uncle.
Yeah, worked at every factory in the town of Buffalo and Niagara Falls.
And so by doing that, working in all the factories as a subcontractor, putting in sheet metal work, you're able to see what factories you liked and which ones you didn't.
Yeah.
And tell us about your Uncle Andy.
He was smart. Third grade education, real smart.
Yeah, he did all types of calculations.
Yeah.
And tell us about some of these calculations. This is interesting.
Well, he did the circumference of the pipes that was going in, the duct work and that. Laid the layout hardware we put installed.
He was right on, too.
Yeah.
And he knew just about to do
Well,
everything.
the Croydale depended on him.
The owner of Croydale depended on him. But he had what type of education?
Oh,
Andy.
3rd grade.
See, there you go. You don't have to have a college education to be smart. In fact, a lot of guys graduating from 8 years at college now, they're working at Burger King, McDonald's because they can't get a damn job. The worst thing a person could do for themselves right now is go to college and get a psychology degree. You won't get a job.
Yeah.
But here you go, your Uncle Andy had a 3rd grade education.
Yeah.
And he made good money in the sheet metal business, and he taught you a trade, right?
Yeah.
He taught you a trade, which is very interesting. And at that time, as a boy, you're living on 3063 Orleans Avenue, Niagara Falls, New York. You lived there all your life.
Yeah.
And as a boy, how was the streets? Was there many homes on it?
There were 2 houses on that street. Street wasn't paved. You would look out your porch to see the stadium at at the big stadium.
Tell us how you made ice skating rings.
Over the fire hydrant.
There you go. A nice thing the boys would do back 100 years ago. They would open up the fire hydrants innocently to make a nice skating ring on the
Yeah.
property. Today, unfortunately, if you did it, you probably,
Got the police out here.
yeah, please, you're right. Mr. Jeckovich was born in 1925, and now it's 2025, and Mr. Jeckovich is knocking on the door of 100. You hear those knocks?
Yeah. Parading gates.
The pearly gate. You're knocking on the door of 100. Interesting fact, the reason why I brought this up, it's so important that people understand this. Especially the young people. They think they'll live forever and they'll always be young. But Mr. Jeckovich, he blinked his eyes at 20 and now he's 100, right?
Yeah.
Didn't you say you blinked your eyes
Yeah.
and now you're 100?
Yeah.
So a lot of people that are 20, 30, or 40, they think they'll go on forever, but listen, don't think that way, because it's a short dance around the sun. It's a short dance around the sun. Enjoy your life now. Every day is a gift. Mr. Jeckovich blinked his eyes and he's 100. Oh, and by the way, if you're 40 years old, you only have a 10% chance of ever making it to 100. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
To make it to 100 is hard to do. Hard to do, and still have a nice quality lifestyle.
Yeah.
And Mr. Jeckovich, by the way,
18.
he jogged for 80 long years. Mr. Jeckovich never took a prescription in his life. Mr. Jeckovich never took a vitamin in his life. Did you smoke and drink?
No.
Uh-huh. You think that's maybe one of the reasons why you're here?
Probably the genes.
Genes, okay. Let's talk about genes. Genes are important, but how old was your father when he died?
43.
How old was your mother when she died?
89.
Okay. Let's talk about your father for a minute. Your father was a very honorable man. He came from a hellhole from Russia, where you worked in these dingy, nasty factories in the coldest part of Russia, 20 hours a day. And when you got so worn out, you dropped on the ground, and that was your bed. That's simply how it was then. You drop and work in these factories 20 hours a day in Russia, that was your bed. So Mr. Jeckovich's father is named Marion Jeckovich. He came to the United States the legal way. He came through Ellis Island, he paid his dues, he did everything he had to do. And then he ended up in Niagara Falls, New York. An extremely interesting fact, most Polish people, Russians, and Italians and Greeks ended up in Niagara Falls, New York, right?
It's the honeymoon city of the world.
Honeymoon capital of the world. It was beautiful then. In fact, lined up on Buffalo Avenue was many, many, many mansions.
Yeah.
And at that time, the neighboring city, which was Buffalo, New York, had more millionaires than any other city in the United States. 100 years later, things have changed.
Yeah.
Things have changed. How's Niagara Falls, New York now?
It's a dump town.
It's a shithole.
Yeah.
It's a real shithole. And why? Who raped it? Who destroyed the city?
The mafia.
The mafia. The mafia destroyed that city. They left it in shambles, and all the bastards moved to South Florida.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Now, if you cross the bridge a half a mile, you're in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. Now tell us about that, Mr. Jeckovich.
It's altogether different.
Oh, which way?
Everything's well manicured. Everything orderly, clean.
Looks like you're in Disney.
Yeah.
Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada is beautiful. Mr. Jeckovich worked for a very famous person in Niagara Falls as a boy. Who was that?
Franchitone.
Franchitone. And what did Franchitone do?
He was a movie star.
He was one of the only movie stars in Niagara Falls, and he was dating at that time.
The only movie star we had more than Niagara Falls.
I know he was there, but you're right. And I don't think we've had any since. And he was dating Betty Garble.
Yeah.
And they had a beautiful mansion, and 151 Buffalo Avenue. And what was nice about this mansion, the backyard was right on the rapids. It was right on the rapids. And with 100 feet down from the rapids would be the drop of the falls. So you always had a beautiful mist from the rapids. You had a beautiful smell of the rapids. And at night and during the daytime, you always hear the roaring of water, right?
Yeah.
What kind of work did you do for the Franchitones?
Franchitone, put stone windows up, put a fruit salad outside for them, did some cement work for them.
What'd you build for Sally?
The builder's dollhouse.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, we'll take this a little further. Franchitone's father owned Carbrundum at the time.
Yeah.
And he got your mother a job in Carbrundum.
Yeah.
He got your father a job in Carbrundum. And what did your mother do at Carbrundum?
Small wheels inspector.
That was our job.
Yeah.
Hard on your eyes.
Yeah.
And tell us a little story about how your mother loved working so much. They had a hard time.
The younger woman wanted to get her out. They said, "You're taking our livelihood away." And she said, I'll stay another year.
So the young girls were saying, "Hey, we need a job more than you."
Yeah.
And they found a way.
We're growing families now.
Yeah, and they needed more money more than your mother.
Yeah.
But also Franchitone's connection was even better. Franchitone Sr. was the alumni of Cornell University, and who went to Cornell?
Stevie, Uncle Stevie.
Your brother got into Cornell.
Yeah.
And one step further, your father, even though he never had a driver's license, had a beautiful Packard. And where'd the Packard come from? Franchitone.
From somebody in the company.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of his father and mother, they never had a driver's license.
No.
Right? Their father and mother never had a driver's license. Minutes, please. They never had a driver's license, but they had a beautiful Packard.
Stayed in the garage all the time.
They had a beautiful
Until
Packard.
Stevie started driving it.
12.
But what you know about a Packard is very interesting. It's American made, and it's as big as a long yacht. It's a big long car with suicide doors, and on the hood ornament, they have it's called the Goddess of Speed. They have a lady holding a disc. It looks like a flying saucer disc or a frisbee, and that's how you'll see a Packard coming at you, because the Goddess of Speed, the lady's on the hood holding a big long disc, and that's the Goddess of Speed.
Yeah.
And interesting enough, Packard came out with the first 8-cylinder stainless steel straight, and at that time, Cadillac began to copy it.
Yeah.
But the three major car companies, about during the late 40s, early 50s, pushed Packard out, and Packard filed for bankruptcy. But there's still cars around today. You can see a lot of Packards around today.
Yeah.
You can see Packards around today. They still have limousines, they still have hearse, they still got sedans, and they still have convertibles.
Power cars.
So Packards held up good. They're still here today. So now getting back to your father came from Russia, and he married your mother, Anna Tigress. She was from Poland, correct? And most of the people on your street were from Poland, correct?
Italians too.
Italians. And now, you do not speak with an accent. How come?
Because my father said here in America we talk English.
So your father made it a rule, inside that house, you don't speak Polish, you don't speak Russian, you speak
American,
English.
yeah.
Did a lot of people on your street have accents?
Oh yeah.
How'd they sound?
So you knew they were.
So they didn't follow the rule your father did.
Yeah.
So getting back to his father, Marion Jeckovich, he died at 43, trying to give back to the country, trying to make Mr. Jeckovich his life a better life, and he worked 3 different jobs. He was doing a cement job one day at the age of 43 and dropped right dead, dropped right there, trying to give his family a better life. How did you find out about your father's death?
Well, the police called us up, came to the house at 8 o'clock one night, said, your father got hurt, he's in the hospital, we'll take you down there.
So you were under the guise your father was hurt, and a police car drove you to the
Yeah.
hospital at 11 or 12 years old.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then, did you sit in the front of the police car or the back?
In the back.
So when you got to the hospital, what happened
I
next?
asked the nurse where my father was, she said, I'll take you down.
So now you got red flags going up.
Yeah, I said,
You're going, why am I going up to see my father where he might have hurt his leg or he might have hurt his wrist? She goes, let's go down. And then what were you thinking?
There's morgue down there.
You went down to the morgue as an 11 or 12-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And what did they ask you to do? Identify the body?
Identify the body and then go through his pockets.
So you went through his pockets. What did you find?
The Candace puts Albert tobacco in the papers and rolls it up on keys to the house, couple of the quarters, the nickels, the dimes, and that was it.
So your father occasionally smoked Prince Albert cigarettes, right?
Yeah, he had a roll of them, so
They had a roll back then, correct. Did you participate in the rolling?
no,
Did your other brothers or sisters?
no,
He did it himself.
yeah,
So here's the difference. When Mr. Jeckovich's father, Marion Jeckovich, came to the United States, as we said, he did it the correct way. He did it the legal way. He wanted to get back to the country and make his kids have a better life. But now, 100 years later, we have all these illegal aliens coming through every corridor, or they're already here. And they're not coming to work. They're coming to work the system.
yeah,
Work the system. They got more benefits than probably anyone I ever known, or ever will know.
yeah,
But back in the day, if the government, which they didn't, if they offered the immigrants any type of money or things, they would never accept them.
no,
Never accept them. If you don't earn it back then, you don't take it, you don't get it. Because you have pride and you got morals. You got pride and you got morals. Not like these guys coming in today. They come in here to work the system. During the daytime, they're sitting on their ass. They're collecting all this money. At the nighttime, they're probably robbing you. They're probably busting in your cars or your house
Yeah.
or doing other egregious activities.
Getting
There's a
drunk.
big difference.
yeah,
Minutes? And there's a big difference between how society was then and how it is now.
7.
But I still believe there's more good people than bad. I still believe there's more good people than bad. But let me give you an example. When Mr. Jeckovich, about 7 years ago, he opened up a laundromat. How did that go? How were the people?
people, they're in poverty all the time. They put a laundromat where people don't have wash machines.
But how were the people?
They were conservative, neat, tidy, conservative about their equipment, kept the place clean when they were there.
A good group of people.
Yeah.
A good group of people. Would you ever consider in 2025 of opening up another
No,
laundromat?
it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. They tear it apart.
Tear it apart.
Yeah.
For example, just 3 months ago in New York City, 49 mom and pop laundromats, mom and pop laundromats in New York City were vandalized so badly that those families will never be able to bring them back again.
Yeah.
Just arbitrarily vandalizing people's business.
Yeah.
That's the difference between then and now.
Yeah, it's the culture. That's the culture then, yeah.
That's the difference. But I still believe there's more good people than bad. There's more good people than bad. When Mr. Jeckovich was drafted in World War II, there were 16,400,000 young men and women in World War II, Americans. 16,400,000 men and women in the World War II. And they gladly and they proudly served. Today, we have less than 6,000 frontline combat veterans like Mr. Jeckovich. We're losing them at a rate of 150 a day. Most of them are in their late 90s or early 100s. So if you have any questions, Mr. Jeckovich, his mind is like a library. He'll always answer your text messages. no matter what it is, any subject, even marriage. How long were you married?
69 years.
There you go. Even questions on marriage. Text Mr. Jeckovich at 407-366-0000. Text Mr. Jeckovich any questions. He answers all. He answers all. 407-366-0000. And the readings that we've done, I think we're at the 500 podcast now. We've been reading for maybe close to 2 years, just about every night. Minutes, please. And an interesting point is this.
4 minutes.
The interesting point is this. We start from Mr. Jekovich's book, we take it to the end, and then we start again. How many pages?
8409.
849. What a beautiful masterpiece. And this book was a great book. Talks about his childhood, World War II,
Yeah.
marriage, his business. It tells everything. But let me ask you a question, Mr. Jeckovich. Many people text and say, how much is your book and where can I buy it?
You can't say it's not for sale.
The book is not for sale, nor had it ever been for sale. Mr. Jeckovich does not need your money. He has plenty of money. The book was to let the younger generations ask questions and find out an easier and simpler way to have a good life. An easier and simpler way to have a good life. Easier and simpler way to have a good life. There's one copy of Mr. Jekovich's book, and that's at the World War II Museum in New Orleans, Louisiana. It's there, but the book is not for sale. It's not about money, for sure.
No.
Never care about money. We don't give a shit about money. It's about teaching the younger generation a little bit of better life and make it simpler. And any questions you have, you text Mr. Jeckovich, and he'll be glad to answer them. I need a minute count here.
Two and a half.
Some of the things in the book are highlighted this way. Not all of them, but we pulled out some highlights that give his grandkids or his great-grandkids and other kids a better life. Let's see, let's start from just a couple highlights. I really like, we're speaking of the grandkids and great-grandkids and younger people. I really like them to know about hand-me-down clothes and homemade ice cream and leftover meatloaf sandwiches. I really would. I hope you learn humility by being humiliated. And I hope you learn honesty by being cheated. He's saying that to his grandkids, great-grandkids.
Yeah.
Give them a better life. I hope, this is a very important part. And I really hope no one gives you a brand new car when you're 16. Did someone give you a brand new car?
No.
You did just well. You did just fine. It'll be good if at least one time you see puppies being born and your old dog put to sleep. I hope you have to share a bedroom with your younger brother, and it's okay if he draws a line down the middle of the room, but when he wants to crawl in under the covers with you because he's scared, I hope you let him. Here's another important point. I hope you get a black eye. I hope you actually get 2 black eyes. I hope you get a black eye for fighting for something you believe in. You gotta fight for something you believe in. If you don't, you don't exist. You don't exist. If you want minutes?
1.
If you want a slingshot, I hope your dad teaches you how to make one instead of buying one. Yeah, big point. I hope you learn to dig in the dirt and read books. Put this up here. Let's talk about your reading books. When you're a little boy, you had a lot of books.
Yeah.
How did you get these books, Mr.
Books Club on the
Jeckovich?
club. Books Club on the club.
Tell us about the ordeal you had to go to hide your books.
I had to hide them underneath the bed.
Why'd you have to hide your books?
Because my brother said I was spending too much money on books.
Wouldn't a mother today just love their kids to read a book?
Yeah.
And so you got a book of a month club. Where was that book delivered to?
At our address.
And you had to run and check the mail before your mother?
Yeah, well, I got hold of her than she did, yeah.
And then you pulled the book out?
Yeah.
How were you able to read it in the house?
I was in the garage down in the boat.
So you had to go through a big ordeal just to read books?
Yeah.
Because your mother said it was frivolous?
The what?
Minutes?